Many years the Rebbe would daven Mincha Ma'ariv upstairs in the small shul. Till later on when it changed, the Rebbe started davening Mincha Ma'ariv downstairs. When the Rebbe davened Mincha Ma'ariv upstairs, there were certain Hanhagos you were able to see. And I'm going to mention a few of the Hanhagos that just come to mind. I'm sure there are more, which I'll remind myself, but in the meantime, just a few Hanhagos that you were able to see then that comes to my mind. The Rebbe, when he would come in, he would daven Mincha Ma'ariv in the weekdays, standing by the door. That means the door entering into the shul, coming from the lobby where you have the elevator. He would walk into that door, and by that door there was a table, and there was a bench on both sides of the table, but on the side next to the wall, that's where the Rebbe's place would be to sit. He would walk in with the gartel in his hand, and he would stand there facing the crowd. In other words, he was standing by the front of the table. His back was to the wall where the clock is, and he was facing the crowd. Didn't look at the people, but he was putting on his gartel. He came in without wearing his gartel. He came in holding the gartel in his hand, and he was saying, you could see, it seemed like by Mincha he was saying Korbanos. While he was putting on the gartel, he was saying Korbanos. And then also by Ma'ariv, he would put on his gartel, and while he's putting on his gartel, that's when he was saying Vorachem and Shir HaMailos. And it seems interesting that he started saying, whether it's Korbanos or Vorachem, it seemed like that's what it was, without a gartel. In other words, when he started saying, he wasn't wearing the gartel yet. And interesting also, the way you put on his gartel, he would take both hands, the two fingers, and put on his stomach, which was seemed like measuring something or feeling something. And then I started wrapping the gartel. And while he was saying, or Korbanos by Mincha, or Vorachem and Shir HaMailos by Ma'ariv. And what happened was that the Chazan, since he started Ashrei right away, and the Rebbe by Mincha was not up to Ashrei yet, he would be still saying Korbanos. When the Chazan finished Chotzi Kaddish after Ashrei, before Shemona Esrei, everyone went back and came forth and started Shemona Esrei. The Rebbe did the same. The Rebbe was standing on his place, went back when everyone went back to Shemona Esrei, came forth, but you could see many times that he did not start Shemona Esrei with the minyan when everyone started, because you could see that he was not up to Shemona Esrei yet. And it took a few moments, and you could see that the Rebbe, after a few moments, started bent his feet and mishtachave by beginning of Shemona Esrei. In other words, you were able to see that even though when everyone went back and came forth, he did the same. He went back, came forth to the wall holding a siddur. There was no standard then, holding a siddur. But he didn't start Shemona Esrei right away. He started Shemona Esrei when he was ready, which was a few moments later. That's one thing you were able to see. Another thing you were able to see, that when it came to Tachnun, like this Rebbe was, normally when he stood in his place, at Chazor HaShatz, he sat on the bench. But then when not by Chazor HaShatz, when there was time to stand, he would be facing the people. The whole shul, which was in front of the Rebbe, he was facing the people. But when it came to Tachnun, when it came to Hashamnu, he turned around and faced the wall, which is towards Mizrach. Now, you could think, what was the reason why he did it? Maybe there's an inyan that when you say Hashamnu, when you say the Vidu, you should face Mizrach. Or maybe it was done for a practical reason. Since the Rebbe was facing the Eilam, you should stand facing the Eilam, saying Hashamnu is not so nice. I don't know. But the Eilam, always he turned around, faced Mizrach when he was saying Hashamnu. He said Hashamnu, he banged by everyone, and we know that there are the Hashamnu, the Vidu is broken up in a few pieces, so he would say Hashamnu Bagadnik is on the Banu Defi, stop for a second, mamish for a second, then start Havinu, till to fall in the Sheker, and then stop for a mamish a second, then Yoatznaro, till Kashina Erev, and then Rashainu, and till Titonu. And by each one he would clap. Then when it came to Sarnu, the Rebbe clapped when he said Sarnu, and kept his hands on his heart, while he said the whole line, by the last word, he gave a clap again, and then he took his hands off, and then he continued with the Kil Erech HaPayim.